Uh, a few years back, I think 10 or 12 years back, there was a movie called Kaante. छह ऐसे हीरोज होते हैं और उन लोगों को बैंक लूटना होता है, तो सब आमरी करना एंड दे प्लान्ड ऑल थिंग्स एंड ऐसे लूटेंगे एंड ऐसे लूटेंगे, ऑल थिंग्स लाइक दैट. आज अगर कोई ऐसा पिक्चर बनाए तो कैसा लगेगा? बैंक लूटने के लिए सब करने का ज़रूरत है क्या? I don't think so. There was a movie, Shah Rukh Khan movie, couple of years back, I think. Last year only there was a movie where they were looting a casino with cash in the casino. But is it relevant? आज बैंक लूटनी हो तो आदमी क्या करेगा? They will have a cyber attack and they will plan. And how much amount you can get? You don't know. It's an unlimited amount you can get. It would be Indcoin, huh? Bharat coin ban jayega wo. So that's the way the cyber crime has increased. I mean, since the advent of internet and financial markets or the financial things getting attached to it, the cyber crime has increased like anything. So since unless and until we don't know the negative side of the energy, how will we influence, how will we realize the positive potential of it? So for that we have a panel discussion. For the panel discussion we have Sundar Ramaswamy, who is partner in KPMG IT Advisory Services. He is a CA, CISA, CRISC, CGIT, CIMA and CWA. He has more than 18 years of experience in information security and systems audit, with special emphasis on IT controls, information security, risk and governance. Sir, you can come on the stage. Second, we have a legal advocate, Vaishali Bhagwat. She is a practicing civil and cyber lawyer with an experience of over 18 years. She is a graduate in computer science and a law graduate, and has been able to combine the knowledge from domain of computer science and law effortlessly. Vaishali specializes in general commercial matters with special emphasis on IT, information security and privacy, e-commerce law and cyber crimes. Vaishali. Third, we have Upesh Parekh, our board member, who was a past board member of Isaca Pune chapter. He is a governance, risk and control professional with more than a decade's experience in international banks like Barclays and currently working with UBS. He also has past experience in KPIT Cummins, and he is working as an operational risk manager in UBS. Calling him a past board member is a bit of a crime because he is in hibernation mode. That's what I can say right now. So I think he would be coming back. Upesh, please. I request Gaurav Thorat from our board and Geeta from Chennai chapter to felicitate. One more, Mr. Sangvi. Yeah. I also welcome Mr. H.P. Sangvi, who is a Deputy Director in Computer Forensics Division with Gujarat Government. He would be joining via Skype.
Oh, thank you very much. My pleasure.
Is that it? Geeta kude Geeta na? Upesh, take over.
Yeah, thanks, Chandan. Chandan was talking about banks and robbery. So I remembered a very interesting quote. someone asked a bank robber, and this is a real thing, right? Someone asked a seasoned bank robber, why do you rob bank? And he replied that because that's where money is, okay? Now if someone asks any hacker, why do you hack? And probably the answer will be because that's where money is, right? So that is what cyber crime is. Let's start with this panel discussion on cybercrime, $450 billion opportunity. I will set some context and then we'll move on to the panel member. So what is cybercrime? And there is no standard definition of cybercrime. Those who are expert define cybercrime by classifying into two categories. One is those high-tech, high-five cybercrimes. You know, you break the impenetrable servers, hardware, software, and you commit a crime and steal the data. That is one category. And second category is cyber-enabled crime, where conventional crime are enabled by technology. So these are the two categories, and that is how we define cybercrime. Now, coming back to this $450 billion number. So this has been, I believe, picked from a report from Center for Strategic and International Studies. So I will read out some of the stats from that study. It says that cybercrime costs the global economy about $445 billion every year. Now, $445 billion is a huge amount. It's equal to GDP of some of the countries, right? So we are losing that kind of money because of cybercrime. Now, those numbers are never accurate because most of the cybercrime don't get reported, and then it is difficult to put a number to a cybercrime. What would you include? What would you exclude? But nevertheless, it is said that a conservative estimate would be around $375 billion in losses. It could go up to $575 billion. Now, the numbers may not matter much to an individual. So if you look at the numbers from individual perspective, it says that 40 million people in United States, roughly 15% of population, has personal information stolen by hackers. Okay. So, and I'm sure that even in India, we are now seeing more and more cyber crimes committed. I'm sure that out of this audience, almost each one of us has suffered cyber crime. And if you are surprised, then I would ask you a question. Has your computer been ever affected by virus? I'm sure your answer would be yes. So you are impacted by cybercrime. So not 15%, but 100% of population has suffered cybercrime in one form or another. So it's a big number. It's a huge number, and we need to be concerned about it. Now, close to home in India, if you see a few days ago, our Defense Minister Manohar Parrikar made a statement that the photographs on the Facebook, which showed some brutal force used by Indian Army on the Kashmir militant, was morph photographs, a form of cybercrime. In Pune, there was a news that Pune Railway was duped of crores of rupees by playing with the automatic ticket vending machine. So it's very, very close. Very near to us. It is not the international numbers, something which is happening in India as well. So if we are talking about the dream of cyber world, if we are talking about the dream of digital India, then the biggest impediment to digital India, if there is any, it's not technology, but it is the cybercrime. And we have to be concerned about it. And what has changed in terms of cybercrime is the form and face of cybercrime. In terms of form, a few years ago, it used to be some enthusiasts who want to prove his technical capabilities and he will commit some hacking, or maybe some dissatisfied employee will play around a little bit. That was the cyber crime. Now it is much more organized. There are organized gangs which are committing the cyber crime, and the money is flowing to terrorism and stuff like that. And there is cyber warfare. Now countries are pitting against each other on the internet. So that is the form that has changed. And even the way in which it is committed. So the list is endless. So various ugly faces of cybercrime are computer fraud, virus, hacking, cyber terrorism, cyber extortion, DOSA attacks, spam, malware, internet frauds, carding, obscene, offensive content, cyberbullying, harassment, cyber stalking, hate crimes. I can go on. So there are new and innovative ways of committing the cybercrime. So in conclusion, I mean, before I move to our panel speakers, because we want to hear from them, I would again quote from the report which was used for this title, is that cybercrime is a growth industry. Yeah, it's a growth industry. The returns are great and the risk is minimum. So with that, let me move on to the panel members. And the format which I thought will be useful for this panel discussion is that I will ask one question each to my panel members, and we will hear from them. And then, so there will be 3 questions for 3 panel members, and then we will move on to the audience. And this will give you opportunity to, keep your questions ready, and we will ask the questions from the audience, and then we'll conclude. I hope this is fine with all. Yeah. So, Mr. Sanghvi, before you joined, our 2 panel members have already joined, so I will quickly introduce them to you without spending too much time. Mr. Sundar Ramaswamy is part of KPMG, and he has great experience consulting in the IS audit and related field. And Advocate Vaishali Bhagwat is a practicing lawyer in the field of cyber law. So they are here with us, and Mr. Sanghvi has been already introduced. So my first question, and this is in no order, to Mr. Sundar Ramaswamy, is that with your background in consulting, Mr. Ramaswamy, what is your assessment of preparedness of Indian company to face the cyber crime? So we are growing, we are putting more and more stuff on cyber, but are we prepared? Is Indian corporation prepared to face the cyber crime? What's your assessment?
So I think this is by far the easiest of questions, right? So the writing is on the wall. Obviously, we are underprepared. But instead of answering it very generically like this, I would probably split it by sectors. There are sectors in this country which are better prepared than the others. For example, the financial services sector is definitely, at least there is regulation in this country which will force them to be better prepared than the other sectors. The recent example is RBI throwing the cybersecurity policy with a 90-day time frame. Mind you, 90-day. There is no policy from RBI which has come with such a short time frame. All that they have given banks is 90 days to write up a cybersecurity policy. That's Annexure 1. Annexure 2 speaks about SOC with the level of detail on what should be there in the SOC. I have never seen, and I've been working with financial services for over 15 years now. I have never seen such a prescriptive piece of guideline coming from a regulator in this country. Commendable to the regulator, it mentions, but having said that, there are sectors which are fairly underprepared. There are national level guidelines, but I think the biggest challenge for us is enforcement of these guidelines. And so that's the state of preparedness. We are clearly underprepared, and you summed it up well, right? All of us have gone through at least one odd cyber crime ourselves, or maybe more.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and that's quite right, Mr. Sundar told that banking sector is well prepared to face the financial crime. They have spent most of the money. And then I remember one of the questions which was asked to one of my head of technology risk by someone, that why we are attacked. I was working with Barclays then. It was asked to the head of security in Barclays that why we are attacked, why not others? And I mean, if we extend the question to other sectors, then it could be why banking sector is attacked and why not others. And his answer was quite cheeky. He said that if there are cars on a road, if there is a BMW and there is a Fiat, what vehicle will be attacked? Obviously BMW will attack. So no, my point is that because financial industry has been putting a lot of emphasis on being cyber, the money is available online. Obviously they need to be more prepared and they need to protect themselves more than anyone else. But again, the question is how prepared they are right now. I'm sure that we all have doubts in our mind. Every Saturday, whenever I find time, I check my bank balance without fail. Yeah. So my next question is to Advocate Bhagwat. Madam, will it be possible for you to summarize the legal protection available to companies and individuals? There are number of laws. The prominent one comes to our mind is IT Act 2000, which is amended in 2008. I'm a bit, worried here because I am not from law, so I'm quoting some. Well, anyways. So, but what is the integrated framework, if I may use the word, available for companies and individuals for the protection?
First, let me thank Isaca for giving me this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be on this platform and being before such an august audience. So thank you, Varsha, Hemant, and Chandan for this opportunity. As the question is, do we have a legal regime which is ready and for your and my help? I will answer this question in, let's say, 4 parts. But before that, let me say, when I read about this title and whether this is a billion-dollar opportunity, let me tell you, there is no other person in this room as happy as I am as a lawyer. I started this practice, or we introduced this vertical of cyber security and cyber law about 18 years back or 20 years back when the IT law came in force. And I've realized that it's just ever growing. That vertical is like just shooting up. And let me also tell you another thing. We try to do, as lawyers, try to tell our clients to be prepared, because that was also another question that had come up earlier. Preparedness. And clients don't see value in it. When you're talking to your clients to say and tell them that be prepared for a cyber attack, be prepared for an insider fraud, get your systems checked. I'm not blaming the clients, because we lawyers have earned such a bad reputation that the clients feel now it's one more way that they would want to earn money. So I learned it the hard way, and I'm not complaining. I generally have stopped advising clients to be prepared, because I realize the fees that I charge for them to get prepared is perhaps 50 times lower than what I charge when they come to me with an incident. So, as I said, I'm the happiest person here. Now, coming back to what the law is. As rightly put by Upesh, it started in 2000 when we had a consolidated legislation which was directed at e-commerce transactions. People realized, law enforcement, lawyers, judges, everybody realized that it was not enough, because it was getting more used to handle cyber crimes than e-commerce transactions. And the major amendment underwent in 2008, 2009. And after that, several rules have been notified, where I can now fairly say that it is one of the most robust legislations that we have in terms of cyber crimes, protection that can be available to the public at large or to corporates. Not only just Information Technology Act, several other legislations also underwent amendment. It could be the Indian Penal Code. There were the intellectual property laws which underwent amendment, the copyright laws. So if you look at all these legislations together, there is adequate protection. So adequate protection for what? If as an individual or as a company I'm exposed to risk of losing an asset which has of value, then there is adequate protection available under all these legislations. Be it money, be it intellectual property, be it your personal data, be it sensitive personal information. And if an asset can be valued at a certain value, then there is adequate protection available under law. There are 2 kinds of protection available. One is the civil and other is the criminal, where you could sue the other person for a monetary liability or initiate a criminal action. And as I think we progress, maybe I could throw more light on what is the civil as well as the criminal action that can be taken up.
Yeah, thanks, Advocate Bhagwat. So one thing which she mentioned is be prepared. And now I am in front of cyber professionals, security professionals. So my simple question to you all is, honestly raise your hand. How many of you have taken the backup of your personal laptop? Most of them are lying. Because, we always think that we are immune to any cyber attack. Sometimes I close my eyes and I think that my Hotmail is hacked and someone has not done any mischief, but just changed the password for the heck of it. And then the turmoil through which I will go, because someone has not stolen anything, he has just played a mischief and changed the password, I will be in big soup. So I think preparedness is the key, and I agree with you. I think we will all take some message back. So now I will move on to Mr. Sanghvi. One question, sir, which is not related to cyber crime. Is it raining in Ahmedabad? It's raining cats and dogs here. I am from Ahmedabad, so I am eager to know before I come to cyber crime question. Is it audible?
Yeah.
So is it raining in Ahmedabad? That was the question.